Hello there, my name is Dawei Liu, and today I'll be presenting on what I learned from Dr. Sara Seager from the MIT Department of Earth, Atmospheric, and Planetary Sciences. This lecture, held on Monday, November 14th in the Calc, was incredibly insightful. I'll now delve into some of the topics that I found most fascinating about her talk. This lecture by Dr. Sara Seager was in memoriam of Dr. David Ritz Finkelstein, who was a pioneer of modern physics and coined black hole as something that, when one falls into, cannot escape. He was also an emeritus professor at Georgia Tech and a proponent of the civil rights movement. Dr. Sara Seager, who delivered the lecture earlier this night, is a figurehead of the exoplanet field and recently won her Emmy on the film The Hunt for Planet B. I strongly resonated with her quote from the 365 Days interview, in which she was selected for Nature 10 in 2011. It reminded me of the moving feature from Interstellar. Mankind was born on Earth, but it was never meant to die. The sentiment Dr. Seager expressed in this perspective drives me as well. I'm of the firm conviction that our generation will be the ones to cure cancer once and for all. Her saying, people will look back at us and they won't remember us, but they'll remember us as the first generation of people who found the Earth-like worlds outside of our solar system. She delivered her talk mainly focusing on exoplanets, in which she used scientific communication to convey the importance of discovering new Earth-like habitats. She divided her talk into a few main questions that she commonly received when discussing this topic in public, such as, what are exoplanets, how do we find them, and where do we go from there? I was somewhat surprised that the most common question she received was, can we go there? As I expected that more people would be curious about whether or not these planets were inhabitable. I had always been fascinated by the premise of life on other planets, although I did not know this field was termed astrobiology as a kid. The possibility for life to exist on other planets is simultaneously frightening and inspiring. Addressing whether this related to my current subject of study, these descriptions of Earth-like rocky terrains with atmospheres drew upon my interest in biology and the origins of life. Her introduction on how oxygen as a gas was instrumental in allowing for the formation of life, and how aliens would simply need to determine if this compound existed, was fascinating but also made sense. Shown here is her work on TESS, T-E-S-S. I learned a lot about information that I already knew, such as the Doppler technique for discovering exoplanets. I surprisingly remembered from consulting many of these Brain Pop and Khan Academy videos in middle school. Though I do not have a reference image for it, the presentation that she delivered had an exercise to challenge us to distinguish between a planet, binary star, and pulsating stars. This is what the lecture was ultimately reminiscent of. I'd also been broadly familiar with the Carrington event, due to that same phenomenon being a common premise in disaster and doomsday series such as Knowing, Solar Flare, and Into the Night. However, I did not know that it could be explained by Maxwell's equations, which Dr. Seager mentioned. As two magnetic fields pass through each other, a current is induced. Finally, I was acquainted with the Breakthrough Prizes funded Starshot project as I participated in the Junior Challenge myself. However, I thought that the idea was ingenious and strikingly intuitive, in which a solar sail is powered by photons to approach speeds near the speed of light. Though I do not have images from the event as my phone is no longer working, I gained a much greater appreciation of the role of citizen science. Furthermore, the role of orbits and gravitational forces reminded me of elliptical orbits that we studied in class. These transits hold much information about how to determine various characteristics between the planets, such as size and atmosphere. Thanks for watching.